Is it working? I think it's working. Hello. Uh, I still don't have like an account, so we're just using the freebie thing from, oh wait, no, I don't want that. Hold on. No overlay. There. I think that's better. Yeah. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. I don't know why, it looks like, maybe Twitch is working. Oh, it thinks it is. Okay. Hi. Anybody who's here, hello. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure that we can, that this is all gonna get working. Oh no, it's not working. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh, I know the problem. So overnight, I had my DHCP server and my network here quit, which is a real bummer because everything like just went offline and failed, and now my proxy tunnels are offline. Yeah, that's a problem. All right, but are you starting it now or no? Yeah. I think. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So it should be going to all the places now. I mean, there's just 2 places now because I can't do more than 2 places on the free version. So it's not going to Facebook, but that's okay. Maybe I'll pay for another thing at Restream again. It's also not 1080p, but I don't think that's a big issue for like a live stream. It's like, I mean, hey, oh no, we're not the we're not the resolution we thought. What is happening? Why is this? No, I don't want to customize this. No, stop. Oh my gosh. Restream is really annoying when you, oh, hide. That's not what I meant to do. I got stuff all over my screen here and it's annoying, but I'll just try to, leave things alone. Yes, that is almost certainly why Birdcam is offline. Ooh, I didn't even think about that one. But yeah, that's everything was offline. In fact, it was annoying because I couldn't figure out what was wrong. So I use pfSense, and I've been using the DHCP server on pfSense without a problem. But in order for ESP Home on Home Assistant to work right, I need to have multicast DNS, MDNS to work. And for some reason, it wasn't working right. And so I upgraded my pfSense router because the new version of Kia DHCP supposedly had hostname support where you could ping things with MDNS, like blah, blah, blah .local, and it would just automatically resolve. And it did. And then I went to bed, and about 5 a.m, the DHCP server just completely quit working. I still don't know why. I installed the Watchdog service on pfSense, so hopefully if it dies again, it'll restart it. But that was really not cool. And then, let's see. So it's on Garfield. Let's see if I can. Yeah. Oh dear. So it looks like it is just not working at all, and I don't know why that is. Oh, because the IP address of my Protect changed. That is super annoying. I wonder if oh man, that is super annoying. Let's see. Dot 26. Okay. Is that going to work now? Okay. Y'all want to see what I'm doing here? I don't think it's going to hurt anything to share this. I don't even know how to share it though. Let's see. Can I share a window? Screen share. Allow, and I want to share a window, and the window I want to share is Garfield. field. Yeah. Okay, there. Yeah, I don't think that's going to damage anything. I don't think I'm giving away any secret information. You're not going to see my stream key or anything, and I'm not even streaming. So, okay, there's one camera. Here's a second camera. It looks like it went offline for some reason. The last thing was yesterday evening. That's annoying. But the IP address changed to... I gave it a static IP address so that this wasn't an issue, but I forgot about BirdCam. Come on. Are you going to work? There we go. All right. This one. Oh, that's the wrong thing. That's my weather widget. Here we go. This is a super sexy life of a system administrator. Come on. There we go. That bird bath is pretty dry and it's not really centered in camera anymore either. I should work on that. And I have one more. Oh, look, that one's working. Why is that one working, though? That doesn't make any sense. That should not be working. Oh, it thinks it's from 2 days ago. I don't know why it still had motion. All right. There we go. Yeah. All right, now it's working. Working. Okay. I'm going to try to trigger it now from Home Assistant. See if that part of it is still working. Man, DHCP just does a network bad when it goes offline and everything like defaults back to stuff. Let's see. If I trigger this now. Oh, good. Okay, I could start the streaming remotely using Home Assistant. So, okay, cool. So I think that's good. I don't know if the live stream is active, though. I guess I should look at that. Hey, looks like it's live. Yes. Okay, we're live. So looks like we got that going. How do I unshare this? Okay. Stop screen sharing. There we go. All right, it's back to just me. All right. Oh my gosh, so much snow. Yeah, we've had over the past month or so just a crap ton of snow, and I don't really know why we've had so much snow. It's not fair. All right, what did I miss? Yes, that was why BirdCam was offline. Iceland calling. Yes, it is Sunday. Welcome, and I'm actually here. I'm sorry I wasn't here last week. I don't even remember what went on last week, but I remember it being like, oh, it seems like we're only doing this every other week. Greetings to Bite Moose, hello, and Samples and Tests, and Shane, and code 33301. Yeah, lots of snow. Anyway, welcome everybody. Thanks for troubleshooting that. Thanks for letting me know that BirdCam wasn't working. It's funny, when I set up automations for the BirdCam stuff, it points at my Unify gateway, cloud gateway, USG plus or whatever it is. That's like where the cameras are hosted, and it was first plugged in like probably 5 or 6 years ago when I got the little device, and it just got a random DHCP address, and I never bothered changing it because it always stuck. It always got the same address. So I just never touched it. And then DHCP quit last night, and so it reverted back to its like default one, which was in a different subnet. So when I got it going again, because then all of my access points and everything quit working too, because it's my Unify gateway for the security cameras and for the APs and the switches. So anyway, I set up a static DHCP entry for it so that it always goes to the same one, and I set the default fallback address to the same address, so it shouldn't happen again. Fios was doing a weird DHCP, and our link tree was showing the. Oh, that is annoying when they're like, it works fine for me, and then yeah. That is really, really bizarre. So I don't know if I've talked about this, but I know I've talked about it, but so, the fiber optic in my area, I can't get here in town because we live in the city limits. And since we have our own um, electrical power in this city, the fiber internet is part of the electrical co op that is all the rural areas around the city. And so, if you have the rural power co op, you can get fiber internet. But here in town, they have our city power and there's no fiber internet. Anyway, if you have the fiber internet, though, which is like what I had at the farm, and then that's what my daughter has that is hosting my server rack right now. If you get the lowest tier of service, which is 100 megabit synchronous, so 100 meg up, 100 meg down, you don't get a public IP address on your router. They use CGNet, and you share an IP address like one hop up. It's like double net, but it actually uses CGNet carrier grade net, which I've never worked with myself. I just know that it's like IP space reserved for carrier grade net, but it's not publicly routable. And so you don't have any public IP address. And they used to do that for all of their service. They didn't want to have to buy a bunch of public IPs. And so they tried to get away with using carrier grade net for all of their clients. But the problem is things like Netflix and Hulu and all those streaming services, they tie users to an IP address. And while that IP address can change, because dynamic IP addressing is fine. It wasn't cool when multiple families would be connecting to Netflix or Hulu from the same public IP, and it just caused tons of havoc for their users. So now they still do that if you have the lowest tier. But I'm guessing if somebody calls in and says, I'm having issues with Netflix, they're like, oh, you need to upgrade to our next tier of service, which gives you better streaming ability. I don't know how they would explain that to a layperson, but you have to get something other than the bottom tier in order to properly use Netflix and stuff. So anyway, it is what it is. I mean, it's a way for them to make the lowest tier cheaper, I guess. And hey, that's great. But as long as you pay, and I pay for the top tier at my daughter's house now, so that's full gig up and full gig down, which means I get a public IP, but it's a dynamic IP. And so I just use a dynamic DNS and base everything on DNS. So it works great, but I digress. Here in town, the only real option, there's two options here in town. I know nobody asked, but there's two options here in town. There is cable through Spectrum or Charter or whatever they are now. There's cable internet, which is what I have. And then you can also get, they call it Ustream, I think. Ustream or something from AT&T. It's just DSL. I don't know why they call it something like fancy. It's just some branding thing, but it's just DSL. And the top tier, actually the only speed they offer is 18 gig or 18 megabit. I think it's synchronous. I think it's 18 up and 18 down, but it could be 18 down and like 2 or 3 up or something like that. But it's it's kind of unfortunate. For a while, I tried to use that just for reliability's sake because Spectrum was so unreliable. It would just drop connections all the time when I was trying to upload work videos. But the 18 megabits is just for the majority of people who just like browse the web a little bit might be fine, but it's just not enough if you're trying to actually do any uploading or downloading. And so now I have Charter, which it's their full gig package, but it's like tops out at like 860 megabits, and then upload is like 30 megabit. It's fine. It's fine. Let's see. I missed a comment here. I tried to explain to my family members that a home VPN is way around the Netflix IP issues. It is. So, and here's the thing with the Netflix IP issues. I'm like, my family and I would share, and I so rarely watch Netflix directly that I didn't have any guilt. Like, there's like 3 houses that are using a shared account. But They made it really weird. The problem is it's so difficult to VPN just Netflix traffic because they use such a wide array of IP addresses because of, CD, like content delivery networks and all of their stuff. Unless you route your entire house, or potentially like maybe just from your television IP, you could route all of that through a VPN to a central place. I think that's the only practical way to do it, is to route your television through, at your router level through a VPN, unless you want to just route all of your traffic from your house through. And I don't want to do that, right? I mean, I don't want to add one more hop for no good reason, because we were all going to tunnel it through the farm. That's like what we were going to do. All three houses, two houses plus the farm, we were all going to tunnel Netflix traffic through that farm IP address, and it would have been fine. But I didn't want to have to go through the farm for everything, although I probably could have. I mean, there was plenty of bandwidth there. It's full gig up and down. So I guess I could have just done that. I have WireGuard set up from my house to the farm anyway, so I could just try routing all the traffic through there to see what happens there. It just felt like a waste, like using up farm bandwidth for other stuff. So anyway, or use a Fire Stick with Netflix and bring the main house every 3 weeks and log in. So yeah, we actually tried this too. And supposedly if you did this with a phone, it would work too. But we tried where it's like, we would always have like dinner together and we would all make sure that we connected to Netflix, and it never worked right. It just never worked right. And I think everybody just quit using Netflix. I'm still paying for an account, but everybody just kind of quit trying to go on Netflix, which is a little bit annoying. Bite Moose, this is a sad story. So no, we had a contract and we extended the contract multiple times for the couple because they couldn't get their house to sell. Then they sold their house and decided no, they didn't want the farm anymore. So they breached their contract, and the breach of contract should have meant that at least we should have gotten the deposit that they put down. Like, that's the whole point of the deposit. And we allowed them to have a very small deposit, $1,000 deposit for, the entire farm. But they said, no, we want that deposit back. And if you're going to keep it, we'll take you to court. And it just wasn't worth it. So I'm like, fine, just breach the contract and go. So I'm back on the market. And then literally yesterday, there was a showing. No, I'm sorry. The showing was on. Yeah, it was yesterday. The showing was yesterday. And the couple liked it. And they're like, yes, we want it. We'll get a formal offer to you on Monday. And they ask all sorts of questions and ask if they could set up like inspections for the well. And I said, yes, by all means, go ahead. And then today they called the agent and said, we changed our mind. We don't want it anymore. So nope, it's not there. Yeah, Spectrum does stink. I agree, Scott. Although right now it works okay, but I've had so much trouble with Spectrum over the years. I've had to have them dig new lines in multiple properties just because it just is so unreliable. But right now it's working okay. So I'm not complaining a whole lot. Let's see. Samples and tests. I resisted switching from Spectrum to Fios until my job. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm like Scott. I only have the two options here. I only have Spectrum and AT&T Ustream, which is DSL, and it's just far too slow. So, samples and tests. I was thinking of using a Raspberry Pi as a VPN client to connect my smart TV to it. Yeah, I mean, and depending on what you're using for a router, I don't know what you're using for a router, but I use pfSense, and you can route traffic from a specific device inside through a VPN that you set up on pfSense. So like you could set up your VPN directly on pfSense to connect to wherever, and then have it route traffic to that IP internally, just that one through, which is pretty cool. And that's, if we were to do it with Netflix, that's what we would have done. We would have just all our devices. But anyway, Scott, you're absolutely right. That was the whole point of the money, was so that if they backed out, they had some skin in the game. Because what it meant is our farm was off the market for, let's see, that was the end of November. So November and December and January. So, you know, for 2.5 months, they locked up our house. It was off the market. And when they breached their contract, yeah, that's what that whole money, interest, down payment thing was. That was the purpose of it. But they're like, we want that back. And if you don't give it back, we will take you to court. And he's a state police officer, which I found out as they were breaching. And I don't know. I am not, I don't have enough faith in the local good old boy uh, judicial system. And when it's a state policeman trying to, yeah, I just no, I just said, whatever, just take it and go. So anyway, yeah, I hope that it'll sell. I mean, yeah, I'm tired of paying for all this, you know, for utilities and stuff. Especially since I got a storage shed that I'm also paying for I got it back in December or the end of November or whatever. And, yeah, so that's annoying. I could have been storing my cars in the garage the whole time, but no. But I digress. It'll be fine. Spring is coming, and you know, there's already been a couple showings since it's been back on the market. So somebody will fall in love with it. We had reduced the price like 4 times now, so eventually it'll be low enough that somebody will be unable to resist its charm. It is such a charming place. I mean, it really is. You want to see it? I don't know if I probably shared the link, but I'll share it again. I mean, it's a Zillow link, but let's see. Saved homes. Yeah. Oh, public view. Mm-hmm. All right. Here. There. That is a link to our farm if you want to see it. I just think it's amazingly charming. I love it a lot. It's just too far away for us, and we don't, you know, we can't use it well. So it's just a drain on resources now. It was exciting. The couple that said they wanted to buy it, like he's a retired or retiring, I think retired school teacher, and they wanted to move up north, and they wanted a farm they could work on and fix up the house. And you know, he's also like a part-time builder. It would have been perfect. I mean, the house is decently livable. My daughter and her husband lived in there for over a year, and you know, it's got all new plumbing. It's got, you know, a remodeled bathroom. It's a charming place, and yeah, they just decided against it. So whatever. But I digress. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, I did finally install. I don't know if you remember what I was talking about. I did make a video. I'm not good at making videos that are not on-screen training videos. It turns out I have the cameras for it, but I just don't ever get angles right. What I think I need to do is do them poorly at first. And then I'll probably just get better. Like if you watch Jeff Geerling stuff, he's really great at like the demonstration videos. I'm just not good at it. And so I should just work on it until I get better at doing those kind of demo videos. But nonetheless, I did the Bluetooth location thing where like you just have ESP32s and you install a Bluetooth proxy, which is fascinating. A Bluetooth proxy, it actually connects as a device in Home Assistant, and then Home Assistant sees Bluetooth devices through the ESP32. It's as if it had like an extended range Bluetooth that reached through the entire house, and it just the little tiny ESP32s are like, well, they're Bluetooth proxies or Bluetooth relays, whatever you want to call it, and it's just so cool. So I have it. I only have 3 ESP32s, and I put them in 3 different rooms around the house. And if you look here, I'll try to share. Let me make sure I don't have any creepy information. Yeah. So here, I'll just share this I'll share another window. because that was fun last time. Screen share, window, home assistant. I think that's it. Yeah. Okay. So this is just it's kind of a messy dashboard. I was playing with buttons, but nonetheless, if you look down here, so Donna is at work, so the Bluetooth can't see her, but my iPhone and my watch are in my office, and that's the closest Bluetooth proxy. But if you click on one, you'll see like it changed as I like would go around the house or whatever. So yeah, like it changed to office, it changed to master bedroom a half hour ago. I changed to the office. Let's see, it should be one in the kitchen. I don't know why I did. Oh yeah, it changed to the kitchen 31 minutes ago. That's when I was getting my tea right before the live stream started. And yeah, so what it does is it judges the signal strength of Bluetooth to the individual proxies, and then whichever one has the strongest signal, it says that's what room you're in. So I don't know, it's kind of cool. I think it's pretty awesome anyway. Code 33301. Thank you for saying the farm is beautiful. I really like it. Scott, you have a secret you cannot tell anyone in their family about. It's good news. Okay. I don't think anybody here would say anything, although I do remember, Scott, that you had a gift ruined because somebody went to my YouTube channel and you heard me talking from their computer. I don't think that'll be an issue here, but I just, I'll do my best to keep the secret, and everybody else here is pretty trustworthy. So, anyway, please tell us the fun secret. Samples attached regardless of quality. I would love to see my project videos. Okay, I will. You know what? That's what I'm going to do. It rather than worried about the quality, I will try. I mean, I don't know if you saw the last time I did one. Here, I'll get a link to it. Apparently, I'm just a guy who finds links now. My videos. Where are my videos? There we go. My videos. I tried to do a demo one. Here we go. Copy that link. So that is the last time I did a demo video. It wasn't great. But I tried, and it just wasn't great. But I will try to keep getting better at it. The yellow bug does not come with the house. The yellow bug is actually in the storage. It's one of the bugs that I have in storage now. And yeah. Tahira, hello. Scott, so I do have a couple more ESP 8266s. The problem is they don't have Bluetooth. Because I Googled that same thing. I'm like, oh, do I have to have an ESP32? And that's the issue. The ESP8266 devices don't have Bluetooth, so they can't be a Bluetooth repeater. So that's the only thing. But the ESP 8266 devices can be used for things like the LED bar behind me. Is it still behind me? Wait. Oh yeah, it's there. It's just a little off camera. Why is it off camera so much? There it is. That is running with an ESP8266 because it just needs a couple GPIO pins and Wi-Fi. So it's, yeah, that's the content might be good. And like the video, like editing and like pointing of the camera. I mean, even if it's like high resolution, crisp, it turns out buying nice cameras doesn't good video make. And that's the issue, is the video editing and camera work is just not great. But yeah, anyway, it is what it is. And I should just worry less about that and just have fun. I mean, it's funny. My concern is not to be super popular. My concern is to make useful videos. And I guess, poor camera angles, as long as the information is there, it's probably still worth it and still fun for me. So instead of doing all this ESP3260 or ESP32 Bluetooth stuff, I should have just recorded myself talking about it, right? I'll try. Next time I'll try. Whoa. Congrats. I won't tell anybody, but that is awesome news. Congratulations. That's incredible. I'm so happy for them. Very, very, very cool. Very, very, very cool. Yeah. Two of my three are married now. Um, and yeah, it's pretty cool. My youngest was burned in a couple of relationships, and now she is just it's gonna have to there's gonna have to be an amazing guy that she runs into, because she is not looking for a relationship right now. She is just yeah. But I mean, let's be honest. A lot of times when you're not looking for relationship is when the best ones happen. So I'm hopeful. But we do live in very rural northern Michigan, and she's very politically active and very progressive, and that is not the vibe in our area. Our family is kind of not standard fare in that regard, so it'll be challenging. But I'm not saying that she won't find somebody. I hope that she does, and I hope that it happens when she least expects it. But I digress. You know what? Code 33301. So should I be pronouncing that? I mean, I would say code E01 for elite speak, but that seems like too many threes. I'm curious the story there, code 33301, but nevertheless, let me here, I'm gonna get a picture of how can I get a picture of it? Maybe iMesh. So I'm looking for a picture of the cars. So code 33301. I have 3, which is coincidental with your username. Volkswagen Beetles, all slightly different. Dang it. I thought that I would be able to find it quicker. Oh wait, it's in favorites, but I don't know if my favorites sync up. It does not look like they do. Let me try to get the old Apple photos up. Photos. All right. And favorites. I do have, so I use a program called Immich, IMMICH, and I use that because it allows me to sync from my wife's photo stream and my photos into one central place so we can search them together. But I don't have my favorites, and there's so many pictures that I don't know. Why are these are not my favorites. These are not, are these even my photos? I'm not sure what I've done. Want to see a funny picture of my cat? Let's look at funny cat pictures. I do have more bugs. I have I have three bugs. It's almost shameful, I know, but still cool nonetheless. So this is our cat Nigel. Nigel has to be shaved regularly because he gets mats really bad, and this was during the pandemic, and we had fun and we shaved him like this. So do you know, if you know who Will Wheaton is, his wife Anne is on social media, and I posted a picture of it, and she did not like, she like frowny face, like negative down, whatever the picture, like I was being mean to Nigel, but I felt bad because Nigel loves being shaved. Otherwise, he's covered in mats all the time. When we shave him, he loves it. I mean, this was just silliness. We ended up shaving his spikes off, but still, when you have somebody like think that you did it wrong. Yeah, these are both of our cats. Apparently, this is the cat photo episode of the live stream. What I was looking for, though, is picture of... I cannot find the picture of our cars. All right, well, I recently took a picture of all 3 of them in their storage. Look at my phone. Should have synced up. Bet you didn't think you'd be looking in Sean's family photos when you logged on today. Okay, there's a picture of the storage shed, but that is not, that's the other side. You know what? Maybe I take too many pictures, guys. There we go. I don't know why it wasn't in my favorites. There's that, and then there's that. All right, I made them favorites on my phone. I don't know how long it takes to sync up. Oh, shoot. Think it does it quickly? I don't know. Last synced on Thursday. Well, that's not good. Can you sync it now? Or can I not sync it? Sync. I'll tell you what, I am just having bad luck, I guess. Okay, there's. All right, show you again. I know nobody's even asking it. At this point, it's the point of the thing. So this is the storage shed, the other side that the cars are not on. And I got these storage shelves like from Walmart, but instead of just using the shelves, I put them sideways so I can make really big shelves because we have to empty all the stuff from our farm, like in the barn and in the farmhouse and in the garage, and store it. And so I wanted to have a lot more storage room. In fact, I have these boards or from when we were redoing the barn on the inside, and I have more shelving to go one more high. So like 2 shelving levels higher. So it'll be like, I don't know, like 7 foot off the ground, the top shelf. So we can really store stuff on there. But I also found, or closer, come on, yeah, I know it was right there. It was right there. There we go. Finally, these are the 3 Beetles I have. So this orange one is a 1973 Super Beetle. It's a convertible, obviously. It has, it's been driven the most. Like I drove that one quite a bit during the summers. It was a lot of fun. The problem is now there's like some electrical issue, and it's not like they're complicated enough. But for some reason the engine was just, it wasn't reliable. It'd like strand you. So we've got to figure that out. The one in the very corner was my first Beetle. That's the one that was actually in that is in the farm photo. It was on the trailer. That one is a 1975 standard Beetle. If you don't know about Beetles, so there's standard Beetles and Super Beetles. This is a 1975 standard Beetle, and it has an aftermarket sunroof, which breaks my heart because this is a very specific model in 1975 that only one of this model went to the dealer because it was listed at $29.99 was the price, so just under, they wanted it to be under 3,000, but it was so stripped down that when you went in to buy, they would say, you know what, for an additional $500, you can get, sound dampening around the engine. You couldn't get an actual door handle instead of this leather loop that you have to use to shut this. It didn't have a full, what is that, like over your head, like the stuff that goes, I can't even think of what that's called, but like the headliner, like the headliner, that it didn't even have a full headliner. It just had in the very top, and then the edges were bare metal. It was the absolute, it didn't have any fans for the defroster fans. So it was the fully most stripped down Beetle ever, and they just did it so that they could advertise that you can get a new Beetle for $29.99. That was my first Beetle. I bought it, and it sadly they put an aftermarket sunroof on it. I say sadly because it just takes away from its minimalistic charm. And then the one in front of it is a 1971 Super Beetle. And if you're a Beetle aficionado, you're going to be like, you're probably thinking, no, Sean, look at that windshield. That is a flat windshield. That is clearly that's clearly a standard. However, in 1971, 1972, I'm not sure about 1973. Nope, just 1971 and 1972. The Super Beetle had a flat windshield like the standard Beetle. It wasn't until 1973, which the orange one is, that they went to the curved windshield for the Super Beetle. So standard Beetles always have the flat windshield, but in 1971 and 1972, the Super Beetles also had the flat windshield. So you can't, it's much harder to tell that this front yellow Beetle is a Super Beetle, but it is. And the big difference with the standard and the Super is the steering. One is a rack and pinion steering, and the other one is, I don't remember what they called it, like some arm thing. I actually prefer driving the standard Beetle, the Super Beetle. Oh, and then the Super Beetles have McPherson struts, and the standard Beetles don't. But I prefer the standard Beetle, and they're more valuable now. But I digress. So yeah, I have a Super Beetle with a curved windshield, Super Beetle with a flat windshield, and a standard Beetle that was the original really crappy one. And then the blue one, if you've been wondering about that, it's called a city car. This was actually commuter car, but on the title, it actually still says it's a city car. It is an electric car. It was an electric car from the word go. It's actually street legal. And it's fully battery powered. So there's a big extended bumper in the front and the back, and they are full of 6-volt lead acid batteries. It's got like a 3 horsepower, I think, electric motor, and it didn't even have a solid state pedal. It had a 3 contactor accelerator pedal. It would either do 24 volts, both battery packs, or 48 volts of the 2 front and back in series to do 48 volts. And that was like its top end thing. It was just the lowest quality thing ever, but it was legal, and it was from the 70s. This one's actually 1980. And yeah, the contactor burned out on it. I want to get golf cart guts for it. So like actual solid state pedal and a little stronger motor. And I want to replace it with lithium iron phosphate batteries and drive it around town. So that's my plan. And now that's all my cars that I put in storage. So I know you didn't really ask about them, but code 33301 asked about the Beetle. And so yeah, those are my cars. Mr. Rogers had one on his show teaching about electric cars. That's cool. I didn't know that. I have to find that episode because I have every Mr. Rogers episode on my Plex server because that's the kind of guy I am. I'm going to have to look. Samples and tests. Yes. So that's my plan. I want to, and rather than lithium ion, I'm going to use lithium iron phosphate just because it's less explodey. The power density is slightly lower in a lithium iron phosphate, but not very much. And I just really like the lithium iron phosphate battery chemistry. So that's my plan for that one. I also want to buy the kit from EV West to electrify at least one of the Beetles. They actually have it's a drop-in replacement. You literally take the engine out and you leave the transmission and everything in, and you put in this electric motor on a coupler, the custom coupler they built, and then the electric motor connects to the coupler. You can literally just leave the car in 3rd gear and just drive it. And yeah, I want to do that, but it's a pretty spendy kit. And I don't really have a garage to work on it. So someday, nonetheless, I'm going to look it up though, Scott. I'm going to try to find it if he did. And if he did, I'm going to try and find it. That would be so cool to see one of my cars on a Mr. Rogers show. So, and yeah, lithium iron phosphate, good selling point, less explodey, not completely unexplodey, but much more difficult to get them to explode, the lithium iron phosphate. So yeah, the lithium iron phosphate versus lithium ion or lithium polymer. The lithium ion, lithium polymer, if they get pierced, they interact with air and they can have a runaway effect where they cause large vehicles to be very explodey and burny. But lithium iron phosphate, it can be punctured and they it's very difficult to get them to have that thermal runaway. So again, not impossible, but very difficult. Bum, bum, bum. And no, just the three. Shane, just the three. 3 Beetles and 1 city car, but 4 awesome vehicles. I think awesome. For, you know, I mean, I don't like have a Ferrari, but I kind of don't want a Ferrari. I like Beetles. I would love to have a Volkswagen thing, like the boxy ones. I think that would be fun. And I would also like to have, my wife actually wants a Carmen Ghia, Volkswagen Carmen Ghia, one of the, it's a little more sporty, but it's like pretty much the exact same thing as a Beetle, but just with a sportier body. And yeah, so someday maybe we'll have they're even rear engine. The Carmen Ghias are even rear engine air cooled, just like the Beetles. They're just like, truly, it's just like a sporty version of a Volkswagen Beetle. And I just think that's awesome. My friend Kyle Rankin, who you may know, I've talked about him before, but he's written Linux books, and he was a contributor on Linux Journal when it was a magazine as well. He actually has a yellow Carmen Ghia. So yeah, we've kind of swapped stories there because they're the exact same engine, transmission, all that kind of stuff. So the Carmen Ghia, yeah, they're expensive. Honestly, they're not that much more expensive than a Beetle these days. Beetles are pretty pricey to get a hold of too. I got mine all relatively cheap. I got the original one, the one with the sunroof. I got for, I think I paid $5,200 for it. It's been quite a few years ago. And then the orange one, I think I paid $6,000 for. That was in the height of when, like, I bought the farm, when I cashed in on some crypto stuff. But then the yellow one that was in the front in that picture, it's funny. I didn't plan on buying that one. It was at a car lot. A friend of mine sold cars at a car lot, and they bought it on auction, and they had it for sale for like 2 years. And they couldn't sell it. They bought it for like 10 grand at auction. They were selling it at first for like 18 grand. And over the months and then over the 2 years, they kept dropping the price, and it was like 12 grand and then like 10 grand. And then they're like, oh, it's 9,999, $99.99. You can get a really nice Volkswagen Beetle. And they just couldn't sell it. And so he called me at the end of the summer, like 3 summers ago or something. He's like, he said, I know you like Beetles. Do you just want to buy this? We're going to sell it at a loss. And I think I got it for like $4,000 right off the car lot because they didn't want to pay to store it one more winter only to not sell it again the next year. So yeah. But I digress again, I guess. Oh, the Beatles, the band, the Beatles. I missed it. Okay. Yeah. There are, although, the Abbey Road, the Abbey Road cover. Hold on. Abbey Road cover. Yeah, I always thought this was pretty funny. I'm not even close to the first person to say this, but if you look close, it's the fifth Beatle is actually in the image there, which I always thought was funny. I guess I can't zoom in, but anyway, yeah, right there, the white one. That's the fifth Beatle. So yeah, not just 4. There's 5. Do they all work? Well, no. To various degrees of no, I suppose. Here, I'll share the picture again. This is just a talk about Sean's stuff episode now. So the orange one, like I said, there's something weird electrical. Like it'll start and run fine. It's not the carburetor or anything. It runs, but then it'll just like die, and we have not been able to figure out why. And then my job changed and I haven't touched it in a couple of years because I just didn't have the money or the time or anything like that. The one in the corner, that one I've put more money into that than any of them. When I first bought it, it ran fine, but it didn't like to idle. Like it had a difficult time. Like if it idled, it would like stall. And no matter what we did, we couldn't get it to go. And so then I took it to an actual Volkswagen, like classic mechanic, and he replaced the carburetor. He made sure that the intake manifold wasn't leaking. Could not get it to stay running. So we cannot get that one to stay running now. I don't know why. He doesn't know why. And I mean, he doesn't know why after I gave him several $1,000s in labor and parts that we just kept replacing, and it just wouldn't. And then the one in the front, the yellow one in the front, last time I started it, which honestly was just when I took it off the lot, it started beautifully and purred like a kitten. One of the reasons I think they couldn't sell it though is the shifting linkage is completely shot. In fact, you know, like when you're shifting a manual, if you drive a stick shift, like a Beetle has an H pattern, you know, like first, second, third, and fourth, and then you like push it in to go into reverse or whatever. There's no more H. It's just like the wild, wild west. You can put the shifter anywhere and you just have to guess where the gears are. And so it's like, and you know, get it into first, and then, you know, about where it should be for second. And so it just needs to have its shifter linkage change. I even have it's just a plastic little, I forget the name of it, but it's a bushing that's the word, that you have to like put in and then adjust it. And that's all it takes to fix. So that one is the most close to just being a fully functional running Beetle again. But yeah, the other ones are rough. And so I was thinking of doing the electrical kit maybe on the orange one, just because summertime, being able to put the top down. But the yellow one in the corner would be good for the electrical too, because that one won't stay running, and it doesn't have any soundproofing around the motor because it's that cheap model. So having a very quiet, much quieter motor would be good for that too. So I don't know, if I had all the money in the world to spend, I would electrify both of the ones in the back, just for funsies. So, but I don't. So that's why they're just sitting in storage right now. So we'll see someday. Louis, it's good that you're still alive. Good to see you, my friend. And yeah, I could mix and match. I mean, they're all mix and matchable. The only one that's an issue is the 1975 is the year that Beetles switched to fuel injection, and actually that car, they had converted it back to use a carburetor, because the fuel injection that they used was just really sucky. Nobody liked the fuel injection. So one of the things that people almost always did is they would replace the fuel injection system with a carburetor. But that means, so that same year, because of the fuel injection, the reason that they had to do that is for emissions. And when they changed the way the fuel worked, they also changed the way the exhaust worked. So from 1975 on, Volkswagen Beetles only have a single tailpipe, whereas from 1974 and previous, they have the dual tailpipes. So the 1973 and the 1971 that I have dual tailpipes, and it means that the back part of the, like the fender area, whatever the back part of that is, there's two divots where the two tailpipes come out, and the 1975 just has one divot for a single tailpipe. So, I mean, I could probably put one of the engines from the other on it, but I'd have to use like the exhaust from the 75, and it would probably bolt right on. But nevertheless, yeah, I'm just talking out of my butt now because I still don't have a garage. I wonder, you probably could. I don't know if they made good like retrofit ones, to be quite honest. I'm a little surprised that they were bad. I never had one. I've never seen the actual fuel injection ones myself, but they were made by Bosch. So I mean, as a solid brand, I don't know exactly all the details back in 1975 why people went back to carburetors almost all the time, but for some reason, people didn't like the way the fuel injection worked, and it could have just been a performance thing. Maybe it didn't have the same performance as the carbureted models did. So it's hard to say. Samples and tests off to catch a train for a Super Bowl party. Have fun. Yeah, we're going to a Super Bowl party when my wife is done at work. My daughter is hosting. She's having a French fry bar, which I think sounds amazing. So I'm excited about that. I am not a football fan, but I mean, it's an excuse to get together and eat lots of snacks with people. So we're gonna go to a Super Bowl party, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. They're still using Bosch at VW. See, I mean, and I don't know. I should probably research more why people didn't like the fuel injection system in 1975. But it's extremely, extremely common to see any of the classic Beetles that, from 1975 to 1979, when the last model was made, they'll take off the fuel injection system and they'd put on a carburetor. And I don't know the reasons why, other than I just heard that the fuel injection system wasn't great. So I do know that Beetle, the gas tank, always has a gasoline smell, really bad. Like I even replaced there's like rubber boot that you replace and make sure it's clamped on tight. It still leaks gas smell. It's the worst. I always hated that. It's a common thing for the Volkswagens of that era, though, is that they would release a stinky gas smell. So that was another reason I kind of wanted to electrify that one to get rid of the gas smell. So, but anyway, I guess we're out of time, and I have to take a vacuum cleaner to my wife because she requested it hours ago and I forgot. Yeah, Shane, thank you. I was just noticing that myself, and my wife texted me telling me that she's upstairs at work, which I'm sure she didn't mean it as a subtle poke reminder, but I'm glad that she sent it so that I didn't forget, because I forgot to bring the vacuum cleaner to her earlier. They have to deep clean the stairs, and they have a big heavy vacuum that's not fun on the stairs, and so I'm just bringing our Dyson cordless not travel one, but portable one. So anyway, yeah, I have to do that. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the Super Bowl if you're watching it, and thanks for talking nerdy cars with me today. That was fun. I appreciate it. And I know we've been doing every other week, but I'm still planning on being here next week. So hopefully I'll see you next Sunday. And if I do anything fun, I'll try to remember to record it, even if the recording is kind of sucky. So bye, everyone. Happy Super Bowl day, and I'll talk to you later. End stream. Are you sure?